Hi, my name is Abby. I live out of this messy truck camper with my two roommates.
Roommates?
And in this video, we are stealth camping and traveling around some different Oregon cities. I'm sure you can hear the engine idling just outside of this window. We actually camped at a rest stop last night in between Eugene and Corvallis, and we are making our way up to Portland. City truck camping isn't usually my favorite just because a lot of the cities that we've been to don't really allow overnight parking or overnight camping, and we don't have a particularly stealthy rig. Very obvious that it's a camper, so I always get a little nervous being in cities, and if it were up to me, I'd like to have like a 2/3, 1/3 of camping out in national forests and things like that to 1/3 cities, but it's honestly more like 50-50 just because we both work part-time, and so we always need service. And there's no grocery stores in the forest, there are no showers, there are no laundromats, different things like that, so we end up having to go into some city areas a little more frequently than I would like. But I'm really excited to check out Portland and the surrounding cities or towns. I just made coffee, so we're gonna drink that and then head out of this rest stop and into Corvallis, which is where Oregon State University is.
Wait. All done. Full hay, it looks like.
Oh my gosh.
Hay caught on fire. Still burning down.
Oh my gosh.
The whole camp burned out. It's nuts.
Okay, we are in Corvallis. It is honestly such a cute town. Their farmer's market was happening as we pulled up, so this is our haul. There are blackberries, figs, which I don't know that I've ever had, and then blueberries. But we're really hungry right now, so we're gonna go grab lunch. Mine looks so yummy.
Whoa!
We just got back to the truck camper. We're just kind of hanging out. We got this ice cream last night and figured now's as good of a time as ever to eat it. So we took the table down so that we could all hang out, and mostly so that I could lay out.
Rocky, you really want some of this, but there's brownie in it. You can't have any of this, dude.
But yeah, honestly, we're just gonna hang out, kill a little bit of time, and then try and find a campsite for the night. We ate our ice cream, and now we're just gonna go find a park so that we can run around with our dog and stimulate him a little bit. It's really important when we are in more urban areas to actually set aside time to give him the attention that he needs. So we're gonna do that, and then probably look on iOverlander or something for a spot to camp tonight. No, we're not eating this stick!
Come here. Touch. Good boy. Touch. Touch. Good boy. Well done.
We're at another rest stop just north of Corvallis, and this is where we're gonna hang out tonight. We went to, so on iOverlander, there is a distillery that supposedly allows overnight parking in front of their business, and we weren't thinking, we both were just feeling really tired, and so we got there at like 6:30. Not really thinking that it's a Saturday at 6:30. Most people are probably at this distillery, and there was also a brewery right next to it, so it was actually really busy, and we pulled in. We were the only camper. There, you know, were kids playing outside and a bunch of dogs. There were just a ton of people, and they all were looking at us, and I was just like, why did we come here? This is a place to sleep overnight, not a place to get here at 6:30, hang out, watch TV, make dinner. And we just kind of talked like, hey, either we go to a park and hang out there the rest of the day and then come back here to sleep, or we actually go to a rest stop or some other place where we can hang out a little longer. And so we decided on the rest stop. It was only about 25 minutes north of Corvallis, so honestly not the worst thing ever, and it has more amenities than we would have if we just parked on the side of the road, so there's that. Currently feeding my dog right now. He gets his food in this. It's a wobbler made by Kong, and he has to like kick it and push it over to have some of the food trickle out. I try to do this like twice a day, and then make some training and some brushing in throughout the day as well, but it's just one other thing to help keep him occupied, especially when we're doing truck camping in cities like this where there's just not a bunch of public land that we can go on and let him be off leash. All done. Since we had a pretty late lunch, we're just snacking on some cottage cheese and salsa, and we're watching our final Jurassic World movie. I'm excited to be done with these and be able to move on to some other films. Cheers.
Cheers.
You don't even have any in there!
No. You were in my way. Alright, cheers.
Cheers.
Leading up to this moment.
I totally forgot to say that we actually stopped for a night in Eugene on our way here, as we were just kind of traveling from Crater Lake into this general area of Eugene through Portland. And I didn't really film it because we had been in Crater Lake for quite a few days, and I really just wanted to shower. I didn't have like any internet or service while I was there, so I was behind on a lot of messages and stuff. So in Eugene I was very focused on just getting caught up and taking care of myself. And at one of the Planet Fitnesses, we got kicked out. So it was like a shopping plaza. There was a Safeway, a Planet Fitness, a McDonald's, and a bunch of other stores. And we got there at around 6:30, got McDonald's breakfast, had plans to work until around 11, and then we were going to go into Planet Fitness, shower and work out. And at like 10:20, 10:15, the security guard was like, hey, you've been here since 6:30, you gotta go. A lot of people use Planet Fitness as an excuse. And I wasn't there, so this is just what Jack told me. But he had said, like, well, it's not an excuse for me. I'm currently working, but I'm gonna go work out at Planet Fitness. And the guy was just like, you gotta go, you gotta go. And Jack was like, so can I not work out at Planet Fitness? And he just kept saying, you gotta go, you gotta go. So we left, we went to a different Planet Fitness, and at the end of the day, it was a very busy lot at the time that we were there, and the parking lot was very busy. I get it if, they were truly watching over who was there, and if we were the only car that had been there that long, I understand. But part of me is like, we were patronizing those businesses, so why did we have to get kicked out? But that's the only really eventful thing that happened in Eugene. My battery is about to die, so good night, I'll see you tomorrow. Alright, good morning. Once again, I slept pretty decent. The layout of this rest stop is basically like the areas where the trucks would park is kind of in the middle of the parking lot, and then along the edge there's this long line of regular car spots, so as long as you park on the ends of those, you're kind of far away from the semis who are idling all night, and it's just like kind of like white noise if you had all your windows closed. But I can imagine if it were really hot and you needed all your windows open, it wouldn't be very pleasant. But we woke up, took our puppy on a walk, and are about to head out and go into Salem. I don't know much about Salem, so we're kind of thinking that we'll go just see what it's like and potentially decide, depending on what we think of the actual city, if we'll stay there or if we'll keep moving and stay at another rest stop or somewhere closer to Portland. We got to Salem and we drove around for a little bit. It is a nice city, but it didn't look like it had much going on, at least in the areas that we drove around. So we're on our way to Portland now. Alright, we went straight to Planet Fitness after our little farmer's market run. No! I thought these were all in a tray.
I thought they were too. Maybe the tray just fell out. They fell out of the tray? Should definitely put them in the tray, in the bag.
We got some mushrooms, 2 poblano peppers. Well, we are gonna go work out and then shower at Planet Fitness and figure out what we're doing for the rest of the day. Freshly showered, enjoying my protein bar. We are still in the Planet Fitness parking lot and are gonna hang out here for a little bit longer before we go and take our dog on his main walk and stroll through the park of the day. It was actually surprisingly difficult to find a park that we could take our dog to because they're all so busy. We're currently in the Beaverton area, and every park that we are pulling into, every athletic center with outdoor fields, it's packed right now. I'm assuming that there's like youth programs, soccer games, baseball games, things like that right now. But we finally found an area near a skate park with an open field and a pretty dead parking lot, so that's where we're going right now. We're back in our camper. We're just still hanging out at this parking lot in this park. Jack is making dinner and I'm just getting some work done. I am helping with dinner a little bit because it's kind of a fun dish tonight. We've got mushrooms and peppers from the farmer's market and some carrots. We just season them with salt and pepper and are sauteing them. And then ground turkey, and over here is gonna be some rice.
And then we're gonna use some of this.
And then we're gonna top it all off with some Thai sweet chili sauce. I'm excited to try this. Our smoke alarm went off in the middle of this parking lot, and there were a few cars just a few spaces down, so I'm a little nervous and embarrassed. When we self-camp in cities, we try to section our day into 3 parts. 1 where we're sleeping, 2 where we are during the morning and day, and then where we are in the afternoon and evening. Typically where we sleep, when it's just in a lot or something, I like it to be, you know, that's the last thing we go do before we go to bed is, you know, dinner's done, we've brushed our teeth, we're literally just going there to sleep, and then we wake up first thing before we have to log on to work, and we go somewhere else to do our work and run errands and do things like that in the morning and early afternoon. And then, you know, around that time where we want to take Rocky on his longer walk and just kind of hang out in the camper and be a little more productive, that's when we like to go to a park or someplace like that where we can just spend the rest of the afternoon and the evening, and that's where we'll usually make dinner. And I find that this set of 3 does help in preventing people seeing you and feeling like you're staying there too long, but it's not foolproof, obviously, as evidenced by what happened in Eugene. I really wish I filmed that, but I mean, we were there 3 hours in the morning and got the boot, so there's still risk involved no matter where you go, but I feel like that's typically what's worked for us and has also helped with our energy levels, because when you're moving around from place to place, that can get pretty draining, or if you're staying in a place, it gets a little defeating when you keep getting kicked out of places. That looks so good.
Somebody else seems to think so. Just trying to lick your fork.
No! Cheers.
And pepper to it as well.
We were looking online for places that allowed overnight parking, and I think we're going to be using a park and ride. So that's basically an area where public parking for public transportation is allowed, generally for like 24 hours. It's really common in California and Oregon, and it's kind of a popular place for van lifers to go just because with it having that 24-hour parking max, it allows a lot of people to sleep overnight, and as long as you're stealthy, it seems like that generally there aren't too many problems with it. Well, I did not expect this. When we pulled into the park and ride, we were the only people there, well, the only rig there, I should say. There were a couple of cars, but there was a public safety car there, and so I thought that was kind of odd because I had seen reviews that said 24-hour parking was allowed here, and then after going back on iOverlander and double checking the reviews, they actually in just the last couple months started showing that people were getting knocks, and security was telling them that these lots were only for people who were actually using the transit center. Apparently security was generally pretty nice and either let them finish sleeping or just like quietly ask them to move, but did say that they could get a citation if they did it again, and it's not something we want. So we're feeling very sad because we're both very tired, and we thought that would work. It worked decently in California, and also the lot was very empty. You know, I understand if people parking there overnight poses an issue with people who are actually trying to use the transit system. There were plenty of parking spots, so I am also a little sad to see that. We're trying the Fred Meyer now though, and if not, there are some rest areas that are just outside of Portland. Basically there's one north, east, south, and west, so you can kind of take your pick, but they are about 20 miles out from the central downtown area. That's pushing 30 to 40 minutes depending on where you're at every night. Please save us. I just became a reward member. Alright, hello from a rest stop. We pulled up to the Fred Meyer parking lot, and we were the only, same thing, we were the only RVs. We drove around the grocery store, and in the back there were some semis and a couple cars parked on the street, but it was a pretty busy street, and on the other side were some townhomes. I don't know, I didn't feel really good about it, so, and we weren't the most tired, so we just did the drive out to this rest area. I figured even though it will cost money and gas to do this drive, we'd be saving money by not getting a ticket. And I think just going forward, we're gonna be mindful of being efficient with our time when we're in Portland, seeing everything that we want to see as quickly as we can so that we're not here for like 5 or 6 days, driving 40 miles there and back to stay at rest stops. And it's definitely a bit of a bummer. It seems like a lot of these reviews on iOverlander came within the last week or two for a lot of these park and rides. So it's like we just missed the cutoff. I feel like we are kind of doing van life way too late in some of these more urban areas, and that makes me sad. I do feel like if you were in a van, whether it's like a Ford Transit or even one of those like Econo lines, I feel like it would be a lot easier because I did see some models like that just on the side of the road. But with us being a literal RV, it's very obvious what the purpose of our camper is for, so we're kind of running an extra risk. And I don't necessarily regret our purchase in terms of choosing a truck camper. I definitely prefer it for Forest Service roads. There are areas that we can go that most stock Ford Transits cannot, but it sure is not fun when we're in the middle of a city, especially one that's this big and that is currently seeming to crack down on overnight camping.
Okay, put all these up.
Ok, d'accord.
We are parked at the laundromat, but before I go and do all our laundry, I am gonna make some coffee and breakfast, and then I'm gonna sort all of our clothes and our bedding and stuff, just to see how much we actually have. Jack has a busy day at work, so I'm in charge of the laundry and breakfast today. It's gonna be a busy day for both of us. I try to sort my laundry based on the texture, so like really durable stuff, my hiking pants, work shirts, things like that, and then more delicates. And then I do the delicates with the sheets and the more durable stuff with our towels. And then usually I do 2 loads of laundry. 2 loads of laundry, not including my comforter. Alright, I have 20 minutes until both my loads of laundry are done, and then I'm assuming drying will take 15 to 30 minutes as well. Let's see if I can clean this camper in the amount of time that it takes to get all of that wrapped up. The laundry's done. Some of it's a little wet still, but I didn't want to spend more money on it. And in terms of cleaning, all I have left is this area where these guys are hanging out and the floors. Laundry's all done and folded up. That's mine and that's Jack's. Bed is made. The laundromat that we're parked at is just on the corner of a shopping plaza that has a grocery outlet bargain market, I think is what it's called. So I'm gonna go in there and gonna get some stuff that we need, and then I have to clean the floors still. I don't really feel like doing that though, so that's why I'm putting it off by going grocery shopping. But let's go do that. Got whatever this is for Rocky, and I'm just gonna let him have it now before I actually clean the floor, because I'm sure he'll make a mess with this. Oh my goodness, this is so scary. Can you sit? Good. All done. It is now after 3, honestly it's closer to 4 o'clock. We're still in this parking lot. I'm honestly surprised that we haven't gotten kicked out. Jack found a good stopping point in his work. Okay, this rest stop has 8-hour, 1-hour, and 15-minute parking and 4-hour parking. And we drove straight past the 8-hour parking because there were only a few spots and we thought there would be more over here. And now we're in the 15-minute parking. To get back to the 8-hour parking, we have to get back on the highway and circle back about 10 miles just to get back to the 8-hour parking. So I think we're just gonna stay in this 15-minute parking. It's really pretty here though. There's a creek and a lot of tree coverage. We didn't do much. There's not much to do in here. Basically living out of rest stops. They have a bathroom and trash here. We dumped our trash and got ready for bed. Tomorrow we plan on actually checking out Portland a little more, so I'll see you tomorrow. Alright, good morning. It is the next day. I got some of the worst sleep ever. There were people honking through the night. I think I woke up like 5 or 6 times. Someone at 5 a.m. was screaming like, "Gary, where are you?" And they were doing it for probably like 15 minutes. So that kept me up for a while. We're really close to the road, so that was just not a good experience, but I made breakfast. Got eggs, my figs from the farmer's market, and coffee. And we're still in this 15-minute parking spot. We've been here since like 7:45 last night. It's currently like 9. No issues so far. Gonna eat this, probably get a little work done, and head back into Portland. Portland was interesting. It was a really pretty city. There were a ton of green spaces, and it seemed like every home or building incorporated a lot of greenery, which is always really nice to see. We were hoping to find a spot where we could park and then walk around and kind of see the downtown, pop into a couple of stores, do different things like that, but interestingly enough, it was kind of spread out despite being these more urban spaces. It was like on one block there would be maybe one coffee shop. On the opposite side of the block there'd be another sort of public business, like a thrift store or whatever, and then 2 blocks away would be your next store and a restaurant. So it wasn't very dense, and we were like, well, we're gonna have to park just to like see this little area and then drive more and then find parking again. With us being 24 feet long, that didn't really sound like a good plan. So we just drove around and admired the views. And now we're at our favorite place in the whole wide world, Costco Wholesale, getting gas. And Jack is trying to convince me to go get some hot dogs. We'll see if he wins. We're home for the night. We're in a casino parking lot. It's a little after 6 already, so we're gonna get started on dinner. We're just making a very bare bones shrimp scampi. We defrosted shrimp a couple nights ago, and I got some asparagus. We have protein plus spaghetti. We don't have any tomatoes. We don't have any garlic, so I think it's just gonna be an olive oil and seasoning sauce. After staying at rest stops the last 4 nights, I think it's been, it's very nice to be in a quiet casino lot. Knowing that we can be here 24 hours is really nice. They have really fast internet for T-Mobile, which is where our internet hotspot is based out of, so we're gonna have really fast internet for our work tomorrow, which will be really nice. I took the bands off this asparagus and now it's fallen everywhere and I need to get it back in the bag. This is a little out of the way in terms of Portland Metro. The rest stop that we were at last night was definitely closer. And then I think the plan for tomorrow is just work, shower at Planet Fitness one last time, and be on our merry way. Dinner is served. And here's our view.
You can hear a generator in the background. Dinner is served. Sierra Nevada with me, and what did you get, Abby? Tepache.
Pineapple spice. Well, I'm gonna get ready for bed. It's after 10. See you tomorrow morning. I think I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, I hope you'll consider subscribing so that you can see where we go next, and we'll see you for the next adventure.